Hello everyone, my name is Mallorie Shannon and I am a certified life coach, Reiki Master, and Hypnotherapist. In my private practice, Healing and Hypnosis, I see clients for a wide variety of problems that we work together to change. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about relationships. I could make 10 videos about relationships because there's so much to cover, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to cover some of the general themes I've seen in working with clients with relationship issues. Keep in mind that every single person's life experience, biology, and sexual expression is different, as are their processes of understanding and growing in their romantic life. As social beings, forming pair bonds has been advantageous throughout our evolution for many reasons that I am not covering in this video. In our relationships, the general aim is a strong connection based on love, commitment, security, reciprocity, intimacy, passion, and respect. When we are missing key aspects of these healthy qualities in our relationships, it can cause extreme distress that has effects on almost every part of our lives. More often than not, a client will come to see me with a specific presenting problem, but sometimes there are numbers of issues that are interconnected. My job is to lead them to the understanding of where their problems originate. In the scope of relationships, the common themes I've explored with my clients include abandonment, rejection, physical and emotional abuse, dependence, and neglect. Once someone understands the underlying causes for the relationship problem they're facing, they can take the appropriate steps to remedy it. The first step in this process of healing relationships comes from an understanding of how our minds translate and store information. In our formative years, we are constantly taking in the world around us in order to be able to navigate it ourselves, avoiding danger and optimizing rewards. We start to accumulate learning, which for the purpose of this video, I will be referring to as a belief. Our beliefs are amassed over the course of our interactions with our parents, caregivers, and friends in our life. Our beliefs form our patterns of behavior, and over time, they're automatic and not something we put our conscious attention to. It's difficult for some people to recognize that their presenting problem has roots so far in the past. Getting to the beginning of an issue at hand is half of the battle. The other half is the restructuring of the beliefs that do not serve them. Everyone has their own subjective truth. When someone comes to see me with underlying issues of, let's say, abandonment or neglect, it's imperative that these truths are altered in order for them to be free of self-restriction and in alignment with a healthier, happier, more loving state of belief. Here are some powerful examples of working through important themes in relationships that I've encountered in my work so far. A young woman came to see me regarding problems she had with finding a compatible romantic partner. She was consistently finding partners who were unable to commit in the ways that she needed them to, and not connecting to people in an intimate and loving partnership. In hypnosis, she regressed to a 6-year-old girl being yelled at by her father. She remembered her young self trying to get his attention and being reprimanded for being noisy, and she was told to leave him alone. The emotion brought to the surface was her feeling of rejection. Rejection by her parent was a theme throughout her childhood, seeping its way into her adult relationships. She connected the rejection she felt from her dad to the rejection she was experiencing in her dating life. She was inadvertently recreating the experiences that wounded her at the most vulnerable time of her life. She was able to comfort the little girl within. She was also able to see the situation from her father's point of view. He did not hold ill intentions. He was very stressed about finances at various points of her childhood. When she opened up to the possibilities of her relationships being the manifestation of her own subconscious creation, her perspective shifted and she took a sense of security from revivifying and reframing her learned beliefs about relationships. Another client presented with a physical ailment as well as social problems she was searching for answers for. Upon putting her into a comfortable trance, she immediately was taken back to her abandonment as a 2-year-old child. She had never remembered these specific details before this point, but in hypnosis she gave me a vivid description of her biological mother leaving her. In a very emotional and cathartic release, she was able to understand why she had built up a big wall around her emotions and couldn't let people in her personal life. This caused her stress at work, also not connecting with people on a social level. She formed a very strong belief about how people were going to treat her, and she would not allow herself to be vulnerable enough to get hurt. Her childhood traumas were an eye-opening experience, not fully realizing the implications they had in her day-to-day life. Another client who came to see me for a variety of problems relating to relationships, like one man's infidelity, another partner's narcissistic tendencies, and other problems connecting and forming meaningful bonds with men. In her regression, she went back to being a 12-year-old interacting with her parents who were cold and unloving towards her. She revisited a time in her education where she was struggling academically. She did not present with an issue of self-worth, but in regression, she quickly told me that she didn't feel good enough. This deflated sense of worth carried through to her bonds with romantic partners. She told me that she settled for men who didn't meet her needs because she didn't believe she deserved any better. With that knowledge brought to the surface, we altered her belief with cognitive restructuring. During her session, she had a spiritual experience with a being who gave her a wonderful feeling of love and worthiness. She connected to her true essence of pure positive energy full of love and life, pushing aside the negative things she used to believe about herself. Once someone becomes aware of the emotional and experiential causes of their beliefs about relationships, they are able to confront them in order to form healthier bonds and to get the most out of their connections. Oftentimes, these sessions are just the beginning for someone with deep-rooted trauma from the past. I highly recommend seeking out a licensed mental health professional in order to set goals and manage expectations for long-term progress. Healing is an ever-evolving personal journey of learning and growth. Remember that relationships are adding to your happiness and not the cause of it. Using a person or a relationship to feel good is not a healthy coping mechanism for being unhappy. Being happy and loving yourself is essential to live your life fully, and it sets the stage for others to share it with you. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Stay tuned for the next Healing with Hypnotherapy video.